Welcome campers, thanks for joining me today. I'm quilt counselor Carla and I'm here to show you today how to identify. And what that means is it's a game and we're in the tent making process today. So let me go through and tell you how I made this adorable tent. So I'm going to go through my list and how I made the frame of the tent, and then I'm going to talk to you about how I designed the fabric to go in the tent and what I did to make it identifiable for you. So let's get to the framing of the tent. So the first thing that I was thinking about is I wanted it large enough so that anybody could sit in there and just let their imaginations go wild. I have a big imagination and I know that there's so many people out there as well that have huge ones, and we just need a place to think and ponder and to think about all these creative ideas that we have. Let's talk about the framing. I made this out of PVC pipe. And I used different fittings. I was not aware of how many fittings there were out there. So PVC pipe, awesome. I'm a new fan. I wasn't before, but I am now. I wanted to make it tall enough, and it started out being a little shorter, squattier, but my husband had a great idea. He said, why don't we just make this part be the triangle and put legs on it just like a regular tent. And I thought, hey, that's a great idea, so that's what we did. Going across the top, so these longer poles right here are about 52.5 inches. Now, let me just stipulate that you can make this whatever size you want to. I'm just giving you and sparking with you the ideas of what I did, and you take it and you run it with it and you make it your own. These are 52.5 inches, so you'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need 5 poles, 52.5 inches long. That's in length, and I did cut it down. It was 55.5, so you can make it as long as you want. But notice that if you make it longer, there's more fabric involved and maybe a bigger sheet. Who knows? So on this fitting right here, I'm going to just show you the front side, but the back side also has the same exact fittings. This is what we call a 3-way fitting, and it's called a 3-way 90-degree fitting. So it means it has 2 45 angles. Those are your little triangle pieces like this, and 190. Who knew? At Quilters Camp, you're learning about angles. So this is your 90, straight across, okay? With that one being said, you have the same one on the other side, so that is giving you your triangle piece right here on top. Then what we did is we started out and we had another angled piece right here, and it just didn't look right. So we changed it up and we went and got a 45-degree fitting. So it's taking that 45 angle right here to right here and then making it a straight angle. So this was one all 45 degree and it just didn't look right. So we made the legs straight. So we went and got what we call a T fitting. So you'll see that this is the T shape right here from this point to this point, and then it's straight on. So that's what's holding my 45 and my long center pieces. Then the last fitting that I went and got, this one right here is my elbow. It's a round, smooth fitting, so it doesn't have any sharp points on it. And those are 4 of them on each corner. And those are all the fittings that I use. So right here, we have 2 of the 3-way fittings, that's the 90-degree. Then we have 4 of the 45, and we have 4 of this one right here, the T fitting, and then you will have 4 elbows. So once I had the skeleton and I had it all put together, I was able to lay this up. You'll need a tall room, okay? Can't do this in a low basement. I was able to lay this down on a piece of paper or my fabric. My fabric was wide enough, and I was able to outline this for the back. And so that's how I made my backing back there. I was able to do that shape and sew it all the way up, and then I actually put that over the poles and put little holes back there so that this piece right here could fit into it. Sleeves will help make it so that you can just slide it on. However, it gets a little tricky putting a heavy tent and not being able to push it in. So make sure you have somebody there who can help you with it, and also have a rubber mallet so that you can start putting it together. You can see it's kind of a rough finish because it's not totally. I wanted to put a door on it. You could put a door on it as well. A door that could be this shape and it could just roll up and you could have a piece of string and tie it together. Well, that would be a lot of fun and keep the kids busy. Also, you could put little windows in it. You can do whatever you want. This would make a cute princess tent. It would make a fun down under the sea tent. You can, oh God, your imagination can really run wild. And also, I was thinking about it, is actually you could just make it all black and then use Velcro and pin up some different colors of fabric and make it whatever you want. So as I was piecing it together, this piece right here, from the bottom all the way over and around, is one long piece. I sewed all these sections together. And then I put this top on as my backing so that I could sew the lining or the inside to the backing, and it'd just be one long piece so that I could put it on the tent. So I made this section right here extra wide so that I could sew the sleeve across, and that's what I did on that. As I was thinking about it, I wanted to make a game out of this called Identify. So I went and found lots of fabrics that had different designs in it and fun. So I've got Pokemon, I've got flowers. So it's something that you could get the kids involved with or even yourself. So I cut these all up in 5-inch squares. And then I thought maybe if I butted them together, it might be too busy and they wouldn't be able to play the game as well. So that's why I did every other one with the black, because it'll make it stand out, and I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. I sewed all my lengths together, and then I strip pieced it all the way down onto the backing. So that was a lot of fun, very easy, and easy to manage the fabric rather than sitting at the sewing machine. So my frame did the managing for me. Other than having to sew these little sleeves on, it made it a lot easier to do it with the quilting frame and my quilting machine. So I went and I cut the sleeves. I cut these sleeves, I think I cut them 5.5 inches wide, where I was folding them over and then sewing them into where I sewed these two pieces together, the backing and the top. So I made the 2 uppers and the 2 lowers, and I did the same thing on the back side. I found that it was very hard taking this on and off doing measurements. So use my measurements and you'll be good to go. Let's jump in and talk about what you can do with Identify. Can you identify with your eye something that jumps? And you'll move your flashlight around. You don't want them to know what you're thinking about, so you're moving it around, and then they get to ask you questions like, what color is it? And then you can answer, oh, it could have been a ballerina. Ballerinas jump. And I'll say brown in color. And then they'll look a little more, and then they'll say, oh, it's the kangaroo. And the kangaroo, he's upside down, but he does jump. Oh, and then you can play, the next person gets a turn. So they can say, can you identify with your eye something that has spots? And you'll notice that a lot of things have spots in here. So it could be several things. So they'll have to ask you some questions. So they'll maybe ask you, does it have whiskers? And you can say yes or no. Does it growl? Yes, and it is a leopard. And you could even get more specific. So there's the leopard right there. That's why I did it with the little blocks, because I wanted to interject a lot of quilting to your imagination, because that's really what it's all about, is what can you do and how you can create using quilting. So I have all these cool toys, and you'll notice that they are the interconnectable toys that my brother designed. My brother is Jim, and he's the owner of the Grace Company. And he has quite the imagination. Ever since he was a little boy, he was taking things apart and seeing how they work. And so I can just imagine my sweet brother Jim sitting in this tent, pulling things apart and thinking up a new toy. I wanted you to explore interconnectabletoy.com, and we'll have that all on there. And you also get 20% off. So there's a code that's 20. That'll give you 20% off. And his toys are so fun. They make you think about what you could do, and that's what all of this is all about. Exploring the opportunities with what you can do with your mind. And so check out his website, check out the toys, and I know your kids will have a lot of fun just sitting here and playing. See what you can do with your Identify and enjoy creating. That's what it's all about here at the Grace Company. We provide you with all these great innovative tools, and we want to see you create that masterpiece, whether it's a tent or a beautiful quilt. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you. Bye-bye.